The second round for the quarterfinals of America's Got Talent Season 20 was once again another fantastic episode as we had 11 more acts competing for the 3 spots in the semi-finals, with Melville being in charge for the Golden Buzzer this week. And honestly, just when I thought Steve Ray Ladson was a surprise Golden Buzzer, this one was more as surprising as it was last time. But overall, it was a great show. And we'll be going through the performances, the results we had, and I honestly think we may have found the dance group that could finally win AGT this season since the Myers a few years ago. We've got a lot to talk about in this week's recap and review of America's Got Talent, so let's get straight into the video. So this week was indeed the second round for the quarterfinals of AGT, and I can't believe we're at week 2 for the quarterfinals. It's crazy to think, and it was another great episode as well. Even though I will admit, some of the acts did actually underperform this week, which was honestly really gutting to see actually, because one of them I was really hoping would make a comeback after the auditions, but that sadly wasn't to be. But overall, it was a really good episode as well for the second round for quarterfinals. Now, before we get into the recap, I just want to declare some news that we got about something that happened that got announced. Well, not announced, but something that has been kind of confirmed, basically. And as we now have one contestant out of the competition due to possibly withdrawn from the competition. So, and that is Astrid, the choir leader. If you remember who she was the one who led the audience into singing Africa by Toto. And honestly, her act was very interesting, to say the least. It was a very unique way of doing a singing act and a choir, of course. But she was actually supposed to be performing on the 4th week for the quarterfinals, but just a few days ago, the NBC Insider announced that, they actually had all the lists for the acts, and she wasn't on there. So I checked on her socials. She didn't have anything about AGT in her bio. I think she apparently unfollowed them. So that has made us basically think that she's possibly withdrawn from the competition. I don't know what's happened, but whatever's happened with Astrid, I hope she's okay. Just need to find me. Hang on. So, as I was saying, I really hope Astrid's okay, whatever happens. But we also have her replacement for her week, and it's quite an interesting pick. And that is Mike Munns, the bodybuilder. If you remember him, he was the guy who did he had the big muscles on. He was doing the bodybuilding stuff. Honestly, I was very surprised about that pick because I kind of wish we saw acts like, Urban Theory, Bill Taylor, Evelyn Orante. That was someone I wanted to see again. And even the comedians, we only had one comedian in the live shows, being Shooter King last week, who we lost. So we now have no comedians in the live shows, which is very disappointing. And we could have seen some more variety, but to choose him is a bit, I think they were trying to choose kind of like a not so act that would make it through. But still, so Mike Munns is going to be on week 4 replacing Astrid. Very interested to see what he does then. So that's the news I wanted to share with you guys as well. But without any further ado, let's just get straight into this week's recap for quarterfinals 2. So the first act we're going to talk about is the one that kicked it off this week, and that was the EDT dance team, the kind of like cheerleading dance group from New Orleans. And honestly, I have to give someone a shout out here because if you mentioned in my auditions recap when I talked about them, I mentioned them being a cheerleading team, but actually, I just need to find them quickly. The person who replied, because it's actually not cheerleading they did. So, where is it? Yeah, so a massive shout out to Simo Thomas, Simo Tom 821, who mentioned that it's actually Marionette, which is a different type of style of dance, and includes acrobatics, and it's and there's actually it's actually not cheerleading, it's actually Marionette, something's that what it's called. Something like that. So a huge shout out to them for correcting that on me. This was actually from a YouTube comment that I commented on. So let's go through the audition quickly before talking about their performance. So their audition had them doing a routine to Bruno Mars's and Rose's ABT, which is honest, and Claire's Level Up. So I think ABT is a bit of a overrated song right now, in my opinion. So let's talk about their quarterfinal performance, because I I, for one, if you remember, I mentioned how much I really like these guys. I think they're probably the most underrated act of the season. And so they did a routine including to Chapel Road's Hot to Go and the Black Eyed Peas Pump It. And honestly, I really, really liked this performance. It was a great start to the show. I voted for them, and it was just such a great way to kick off the show. It was just, and to see these guys perform, having the time of their lives, was absolutely fantastic to see. So let's go through the comments that they said. So Sophia mentioned it was an amazing way to open the show, and she's given them another super yes, like she did in the auditions. Simon mentioned that it was spectacular, kind of stealing kind of stealing Sophia's phrase there, and mentioned apart from being talented, the work that went into it paid off very well. Mel mentioned that woke her up, and the commitment and the energy was on fire. But Howie mentioned if this was a cheerleading contest, it was good, and he felt it was much more than that, and he felt like they're going to have a problem with the talent they were having in that episode. So I think Howie was a little bit critical there, just because I think of the talent that was on the episode. But I thought they really stepped it up from the auditions. I'm not even just saying that. I genuinely think they really upped their game because, and the song choice was great. They didn't do like a very like kind of I guess irritating song. They did it because I know ABT is a bit of a overplayed song, just to say the least, at the moment. So I'm very glad they had two songs there I liked. And also, there's just something about them. There's not only is just they're extremely talented, and a lot of fun, but you can tell how much effort and hard work they put into their routines, which is honestly really great to see. So I have nothing but respect for them. And again, I don't know why, but I love seeing these type of acts on the show because I just to see them doing like this type of routine with like gymnastics, kind of flips, like this type of act I love seeing, and I've always loved seeing these type of acts. Like even on BGT, we've had acts like those, like the Lady Grenades, like I mentioned, who were on BGT last year. These guys were also fantastic. I thought it was a great start to the show. They really stepped up from the first time around, and overall, it was a very, very solid start to kick off the second round for the quarterfinals. Now we're going to talk about Mel B's Golden Buzzer, which was given to Mama Duke, the rapper from. Let me find out where she's from. I believe she's from. Just give me a second, please. I'm loading on the fandom. She is from. Um, I don't think. I don't know where she's from actually. I don't think it says. But anyways, so Mel B's Golden Buzzer was given to rapper Mama Duke, who honestly was the biggest surprise of the season so far. Which I don't think anybody, including myself, was thinking that she'd get it. And also, this was actually the second act of the night, believe it or not. So that was a really interesting thing because I don't think this is like the earliest that they've done it. Because I know they tend to try and do it between the middle portion of the episode. So it was very surprising to see have it been done on the second act as well. So that was pretty interesting. So let's go through her audition quickly. So she did a rap called "Feels So Good to Be You," and which actually got to the number 4 on the iTunes charts, believe it or not. So let's talk about her performance now. So her performance had her doing a rap called "Welcome to the Mama Duke Show," and it kind of started off with kind of like this emotion, kind of like, well, not poetry, but it kind of gave me that little bit of vibe of Brandon Leake from season 15 when he won. Kind of like that motivational emotion, and I was kind of thinking to myself, is she gonna do like an actual like emotional kind of deep connection rap? Because if so, that's going to be interesting to see. But no, after that bit, she went up tempo, and then she got the party started with the Mama Duke Show, and that secured her the golden buzzer that Mel B gave to her, which honestly I don't think anyone was expecting for her to get it. I didn't expect it whatsoever. So let's go for the comments here before I talk about my opinion on her, because I know a lot of people are very split on this. So someone mentioned that he loved her audition and she was better this time round. And Howie mentioned that he couldn't hear him because the audience, were loving her and the authenticity she had, that she speaks to the world. Sophia mentioned that her writing was so clever, very likable, and Mel mentioned that she loved her the first time and loved her even more.
And she also mentioned that Missy Elliott better be watching out for her because she's coming right now, and that's when she pressed the golden buzzer for Marmaduke. Which honestly, while people are, and I'm going to be honest here, I know people I've seen online people are very kind of mixed about this, and I have to say the YouTube comment sections were obliterating her over this decision. So I will say this: I thought she really stepped. I thought Mama Duke really stepped it up from the first time round, and I loved the way she did kind of like a little bit of emotion at the start, but then she started getting to the up tempo stuff, got the party started, and again. I'm not a rap expert. I'm not always a massive fan of rap, but the way she works the crowd, her stage presence is just off the charts good. I just thought she was fantastic, and I just can't help but smile every time I listen to her and just watch her perform. As again, the songwriting she does is great. I love the song she did, and the way she started the emotion in before getting up to tempo was really really cool to see. So, and I think, and I believe she's actually the first rapper to make it through to make the finals, which is very cool to see. I don't think we've ever had a rapper make it all the way to the final, which is a very big achievement. I'm gonna have to double check on that. So if anyone wants to let me know if we've ever had a rapper make it to the finals of the show, feel free to let me know in the comments. And did I leave my water somewhere? I need to have a drink of water quickly. There it is. Hang on. Okay, I have a swig of water here, just quickly. I've got a dry mouth here. Hang on. Okay, I'm back, everybody. Had some water there. So, anyways, as I was saying about Mama Duke, I'm honestly not upset that she got the golden buzzer. To be honest, I was very shocked that she did get it. Wasn't expecting her to get it at all. But overall, I'm not upset with her getting the golden buzzer. To be honest, I think I'm fine with her getting it. I'm happy for her, and I can't wait to see what she has in the final. Because and I hope that Missy Elliott does do a collab with her in the result show for the excuse me, need to choke to my drink there. Hopefully Missy Elliott does a duet with Mama Duke for the finals. That would be very cool to see that happen. So I'm wishing her all the best of luck, and I can't wait to see what she does then in the finals in a few weeks' time. Now we have to talk about the best act of the night and probably the best dance group I've of the season, to be quite frankly now, and that is Unreal Crew, who the dance group from India that got Howie's golden buzzer, and they were the ones I was so looking forward to seeing return to the AGT stage since B Unique's elimination last week, where they didn't make it through. They're the ones I was super looking forward to seeing come back again. And let me tell you, I think we may have just found the winners of AGT right here, folks, because this was just epic to say the least. So let's talk about their performance now. So let me get up to the page. There we go. So let's talk about them. So their performance had them. So basically, the routine they did was basically a robot themed routine to 26's Badash in Baltimore, which I've again normally the dance tracks they do to these songs, I have no clue what they are most of the time, and that's not me being critical. That's just my lack of music knowledge, to say the least. Um, so that was that, and they were dressing up in this like kind of robot outfit. Well, not robots, but it felt kind of the outfit was very like so they basically did some moves. Like one of them was like having a plane, like one of them had like a controller, and then some of the choreography was just phenomenal. They did some more contortion moves, and even one of them had Simon's face tattooed on their back, and they did some moves with that, which was very, very impressive. And to say the least, I was very impressed. They had a bit of fire in there with the shirts, and there was one point when they had like these like fireballs, and then one of them was wearing a mask, and then they were basically doing routines with that, and just the whole routine was phenomenal. And also they had a spanner as well. It was like kind of one of the members here was like had a spanner in his hand, and he kind of made as if like they were turning a bolt with one of the dancers' head. That was a really cool effect, and just honestly, I've got nothing else to say about this group because this is quite frankly one of the best acts I've ever seen on AGT in all the years I've been watching the show in terms of this category. It was so amazing. So Howie mentioned that it's by far the best dance choreography he has ever seen, or they have ever seen in the history of AGT, and they are a $1 million dance right here. Sophia mentioned that they were very unique. It was better than the auditions, and she thought they were spectacular. So Simon mentioned it was in a different league, and it didn't rely on any gimmicks, and it was well choreographed. I can't even pronounce it. Choreographed. There we go. I did it now. But Mel B was being a Debbie Downer here, saying that she felt like it was the exact same as they did in the auditions, and there being not much difference, which I totally disagree with her. And I totally disagree with what Mel said here, because these guys really, and I mean really, stepped up their game. It was just, I to be honest with you guys, I honestly have no other words to describe how amazing these guys are. Like, this is by far the best dance group I've ever seen on AGT in such a long time. Like, the whole routine was nothing short of phenomenal, and just the way they used those elements of contortion, choreography, and and also when they were using when they had Simon's tattoo on them, that was so impressive as well. And just like, this is a world class act that should be and deserves to have their own show in Vegas. It's just out of this world how this group can be this good. Like honestly, at this rate, these guys actually might be my official pick to win the whole show this year. And I know, you guys know how much I love Jessica Sanchez, and you know how much I have been predicting her to win the whole show, which I still am. But with this performance, I feel that Unreal Crew have got real shot of now winning the whole competition. I just think, and just again, to see a group like this win the show would just be so amazing. I've got nothing else to say. This is exactly the dance group this season that deserves to be in Vegas. They deserve to win the whole thing, and I'm gonna be honest right here. I would be amazed. I'm gonna say right now, these guys have to be in the top two. Between them and Jessica Sanchez, this is easily my top two so far. Now that we have some of the acts gone who we did lose this week, which I'm kind of gutted about, to have Jessica and Unreal Crew make to the final two together would just be phenomenal, and I really hope that happens. Again, these guys have now got a real chance of winning the whole thing now, and I really hope they do, because it was nothing short of sensational. I can't describe how amazing this was, as it was just absolutely phenomenal. Now we go on to probably the biggest disappointment from this week, and that was magician Alan Simonov from Brazil. Now, you guys remember that I mentioned how much I really liked his audition. It was really clever and extremely it kind of reminded me of Mel mentioned that there was she felt like she was lost in the act. So then that's why I thought to myself, maybe there could be room for improvement. He could be like the Yu Ho Jin of this season, and kind of step his game up. Because I loved his audition where he did the routine with the paper and all that stuff. I thought it was very clever how he did it. But honestly, this time around, it was really lackluster, to say the least. So basically, his routine had him doing a magic routine to Life on Mars by David Bowie, and Mel B buzzed him, which honestly I don't disagree with her on this one, because I was really underwhelmed by this performance. It felt messy. It felt too long. It just wasn't. There wasn't a build up that made me go, oh my god, this is phenomenal. It was just boring to say. It was just boring. So Mel mentioned that she believes in magic, but she didn't believe it, and it just wasn't right. Sophia mentioned that she preferred the audition than this round, but she does feel that there is something magical about him. So at least Sophia gave him a compliment there. But Howie mentioned that he didn't find this mysterious as much as he found it. It's boring. And so it just, and then Simon mentioned from where he sat, it wasn't great, and just rather than wow, it was just wasn't big enough, basically. Which I totally agree with the judges, which is a huge shame because I thought his audition was absolutely brilliant, and I love seeing this type of magic on the show. Of having this kind of mysterious alter ego, and it's just and to see it kind of not deliver this week, it was just such a huge disappointment for me because he was the magician this season I was really looking out for to do well and have some improvement. But it was just really not there this week, and it's just such a shame. But just it felt messy. There wasn't much wow factor in there. And I'm gutted about it because I think he's a really talented magician. I think he's got a lot of talent, a lot of promise, but this week he just really underperformed. And like I mentioned, it's a real shame because I thought he had a lot of potential to be the Yu Ho-jin of this season, maybe the young men. But no, it was just really not there, which is disappointing to be honest. So I'm sorry, Alan. I think you're fantastically talented, but this was not your night, unfortunately. But I do hope that you come on Britain's Got Talent, maybe for the next series as they start doing in October. So just a little thought out there. If you see this, Alan, please come to the BGT. I would love to see that happen. So the next act we had was the Leo High School Choir, the choir from Chicago. So in their audition, basically it's basically a group of men from Chicago and the director, of course, being Mrs. Hill. Where and in the audition they performed the scores born for this, where Mel even asked if it was an original song, which they said that it wasn't. Which to be honest, I didn't know it was an actual song. I thought it was a song they wrote. Um, so so their performance this week had them performing a performing Imagine Dragons Believer, which they basically come out. They did a bit of choreography into it, and even towards the end, two of them actually the backflip. So that was very cool to see. And honestly, this was probably the biggest improvement of the week from a group who I didn't really take much notice of, as I thought they really stepped up their game from the first time around. So Sophia mentioned that they are one of the best things she's seen this week. And Howie mentioned that he loves this squad because more than he likes cheerleaders and magic because he wasn't a huge fan of EDT or Alan. Mel mentioned that they lit up the whole entire place and the audition was good, but they stepped it up and beyond. And she even admitted that she would have pressed the golden buzzer for them, which I was like, well, you could have saved that golden buzzer for them instead of pressing it early on for Marmaduke. So that's just my little rant there. And then Simon mentioned that they came back stronger and better, and he keeps thinking of this world for all of them, strength, and he mentioned this what the show is all about. And these guys, I totally agree with what the judges said here because I thought they massively improved from the first audition. As you know, I know a lot of people aren't a massive fan of choirs. Sometimes choirs could be very subjective, in my opinion. Excuse me, I just sneezed there. Hang on a second. There we go. So I just sneezed into my hand now. My apologies. But this performance made me love these guys. I liked them in the auditions, but this made me love them even more. Because not only the song choice was great, I loved the whole song choice to Imagine Dragons, and the way they performed it was excellent. You can see the amount of hard work they put into the performance with the choreography. They were having the time of their lives, and just seeing men, you could this felt like men on a mission right here, doing what they do, having fun, enjoying themselves. Again, they sounded fantastic together. I absolutely loved the performance. It was a huge improvement, and I do think if there were another golden buzzer on this week, they would have definitely gotten it. To be honest, because I just thought they were amazing. I absolutely loved these guys, and now I love choirs now based on this performance. But honestly, in all seriousness, I thought they really improved from the first audition, and just it was a fantastic performance overall. That's what I can say right now. I just thought they massively improved. I loved everything about the whole performance, and this is what a choir should be: young people like them on a mission, doing what they do, enjoying themselves, all of this stuff, amazing. And I'm so happy for them. Again, this was the biggest improvement of an act I've seen this season so far. I absolutely loved it. Now we're going to talk about one of my favorite acts of the season, being Joglissimo, the juggling group from episode 4, who performs the juggling routine with the blackout art to Lindsay Sterling's Take Flight and Roundabout Rival, which to this day I still think they should have gotten the golden buzzer. I was so disappointed that they didn't get it, and disappointed they didn't get it this time around. And also they had a good spot in the lineup for doing this act, for getting it. So they basically did another routine of blackout juggling to C2C's Happy. I think it's a song I've heard a few times before, and there was actually new members. Actually, it was 2 new members there. One of them was actually one of the members that got ill, and I can't remember his name. He actually was the replacement, and I believe that it was Daniel who couldn't be there. They mentioned someone called Daniel couldn't be there, so yeah. So Daniel's in the group now, which is awesome. So let's talk about the performance, because this for me was yet again another performance that deserved a golden buzzer, and I still feel they should have gotten it. I just thought they were amazing. So Harry mentioned that to be able to do to synchronize with not only the juggling but the video wall is what, and is basically mentioned, is worth the act voting for. Mel mentioned that it was very, very entertaining. Sophia mentioned that it's a Vegas labeled show. There's something about them that they like about them. And so Simon mentioned that why doesn't he mentioned that he doesn't love juggling, which he has done before. If they take out the graphics, he wouldn't have really liked the act. But now he's seen it twice. Would he want to see it again? And he mentioned that he didn't really know. So I don't know if that's supposed to be a compliment. I don't know if that's supposed to be anything. I really don't know what he meant by that, to be honest with you. But what I will say is, it was, in the words of Mel B, it was nothing short of off the chain. It was an off the chain performance, as they literally take juggling to literally the next level, and to what we've seen over the years. We've seen very many different types of juggling acts, like this year. Them, the Masaudi brothers who are on next week, Brandon Rathro, another juggler, who got kindly deliberations a few weeks ago. Those are the jugglers we had this season, I believe, and just how they're able to do this routine is just out of this world. And I'm so happy that they made it to the quarterfinals, and I'm so happy that they did this routine. I just thought they were amazing once again. It's an act that deserves their own show in Vegas. I was once again blown away by the whole performance, and I still wish that there was another golden buzzer for them, because they deserved another golden buzzer. I was so upset that they didn't get it, because I just thought they were so good. They were just so freaking good. I absolutely loved them. I just loved them, and again, they are another act I would love to see come and do, like something like Britain's Got Talent again, to come over to the UK, do BGT. That would be great to see, for this type of act of juggling, So that's what I'm very much hoping for. But this was just an absolutely phenomenal performance once again, and I was just blown away by the whole performance once again. That's all I can say. I was just blown away by everything with this routine. It was absolutely incredible. Now we go on to Benjamin Hightower, the singer and keyboard player originally from In the Stairwell, who are an a cappella group who made it to the semi-finals on AGT 2017, the year Darcy Lynn won. And he was basically a server in the British in the American military, I think in the US Air Force. Yep, him. But so his audition had him doing the Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan, which got viral, and even Michelle Obama actually watched it and mentioned it, which was very cool. So that was very good to hear that Michelle Obama reacted to it. So his performance had him doing a ballad version to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, a very unexpected choice from him this to do this week and make it into a ballad. Like that's a very big risk to take. And apparently, he actually had to get this song cleared because he mentioned that he wanted to do a different song. But they had to have permission. And you know what songs are like about getting cleared? It takes a long time to get the permission. But he did get the news that he was allowed to do it, and he performed it very, very well. I was very impressed by the whole performance overall. So, Mel mentioned. Excuse me, hang on. Gosh, I'm tired this week, aren't I? So, Mel mentioned as soon as she recognised the song, not only that it was a great choice, he took a big risk, and she thought that he paid off very well. But how he felt like that this particular song in his head felt like musical theatre, which I don't understand how his hatred towards musical theatre. Like, what's musical theatre ever done to Howie over the years that's made him not like it? But he mentioned that he took something that was already big and made it and basically shrunk it, which I don't agree with actually, to be honest. So Sophia mentioned that he has so much style quality, and he felt like the choice of the song was very different and again I think it showed a different side of him, what he can do. But someone mentioned that he felt like it was overproduced a bit. Which I mean, I can kind of understand where he's coming from with it being overproduced, but I honestly thought he performed this song really, really well. You know, I like. I'm just getting my stuff up. Sorry, I'm just reading. I'm on the fandom, by the way. Talking about this stuff here, so please bear with me. So again, I thought it was a very unexpected song choice for him to do because with the Chapel Roan performance, he took that song, he made it his own, and and I thought he sang it really well. Like I think there were a few times I felt like he sounded a bit off key, like a few times towards the end. But as an overall performance, it was actually really good. Like I loved the rendition of the song. It was unexpected, which I really liked. And I think he is just ridiculously talented overall, which is amazing. I just think he's got. I think he made the right choice moving, not joining back into the U.S. Army, military actually to persuade his dream of singing because he has got such a great voice. He's ridiculously talented. I think he's got a career in singing for years to come, and I do think what he really, really. I thought he really performed this to justice. I loved this performance. I thought it was great. So very happy for Benjamin. I thought he performed it fantastically well, and yeah, I thought he knocked it out of the park this week. So next up we have Sophia's Golden Buzzer of Duo Stardust, who we all know from Britain's Got Talent this year, and we all know that they got the Golden Buzzer from Simon Cowell, got eliminated in the semi-finals, and also got a bit of criticism from Simon, which to this. Do you know what I've noticed in their VT that talking about their BGT journey, they didn't mention once about getting the Golden Buzzer from Simon, which I find that really odd because he was the one who literally pressed the Golden Buzzer for them, and when he mentioned to Sophia that he wasn't blown away by them, you literally gave them the Golden Buzzer yourself. I don't know if you. He probably may have been talking about their semi-final performance, but still. You still gave them the Golden Buzzer, which is just Simon these days needs to you should know me by now. So basically, Joe Stardust this week performed a roller skating and aerial acrobatic routine to "You Give Love a Bad Name" by Bon Jovi. It was like an basically an orchestra version of the song, which was really great. I've always noticed when aerial acts or acts like these do songs like popular songs, they have different versions of it, which I actually quite like because it can really kind of change the mood of things, which is I do find pretty cool. So they actually mentioned in their VT as well. They were going to have some fire into the routine, but actually they realized before going live it was too dangerous to do. So they kind of scrapped that idea and just did it how it was with no flames, just them, and yeah, that they did it with just basically they're by themselves basically.
Which honestly, this was the correct decision. This was a great decision they made because I thought this was even better without the fireworks, without the flames. It was so amazing to watch. So Sophia mentioned that she was right about the auditions, and they were insane and one of the best acts that really makes her. One of the acts that makes her heart stop. Howie mentioned that they are the epitome of the show must still go on, and they rose to the occasion. Simon mentioned that they've been there before because this time he believed in the opposite way around, and he thought that they did better, taking the fire away, and it showed how crazy and hard it was because one wrong move, you could literally you could get injured doing this. So there's no safety mat, there's no nothing, there's no equipment. Like one wrong move, it's probably game over. So and then basically Mel mentioned that it was the best of the night so far. So basically Simon said what she was gonna say more or less. So that's that that was that. But just watching them again was so great to see. And you guys know how much I love these guys since they were on Britain's Got Talent last year. I was blown away with their audition. It was so good. And they did not disappoint in the slightest. And, like I mentioned, I think them taking away the kind of like, them taking away the sparkles and just doing it them by themselves, you know, it made the act even better. And it just shows how you don't have to always have the flames and the fight. It can just be you. It could just be those two by themselves, and it would still be absolutely beautiful to see. And again, still to this day, I wouldn't trust anyone as much as professional they are. I wouldn't want to trust them having me like 2 feet in the air, going around being all like buzzing in the air. Like I could not cope. I could not cope. And I'm glad that they didn't have someone like they didn't bring Howie up and did what they did with Bruno in the semi-finals last year. I was kind of glad they did that. They didn't do that. But again, they absolutely blew me away once again. And I'm very happy that they proved Simon wrong as well, because he was wrong on saying he didn't feel like that audition on BGT, because I actually thought they really knocked it out of the park on BGT for the semi-finals. And I was like, what on earth are you talking about, Simon? You gave them the golden buzzer. So yeah, so that was that. And yeah, overall, I am so happy for them. You know, honestly, I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy it went well for the pair. I just thought they were once again amazing, and they really rose to the occasion. And just like how we said, the show must still go on, and that is what they did. It was just amazing. So the next up we had was Boston Dynamics, the robots kind of like dance team thing, blah blah. The robot act. And basically they're the group from Boston, and they in the audition they did like a dance routine to "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen, and in the performance you may remember that one of them actually ran out of battery and they basically died on stage basically, and then during the judges' comments they stood back up and just started going all over the place, and it was just utter hysterical to watch their audition back, which I love, to be honest. Excuse me, I'm still tired. Oh, goodness me, I'm very tired today. So, anyways, let's talk about their performance. So basically, they actually had them doing a robot dog routine to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations. Basically, it actually kicked off with a robot which actually looked like a legitimate dog. And then they basically did the choreography, which was very impressive. And even at the end, one of the robots did like a triple backflip. Like, he went, whoop, yep. And then he basically did that's called Carl Forgets for doing that sound effect. They basically did a triple backflip at the end, which was so impressive. But Simon buzzed them. Simon literally buzzed this act, which, to be honest, to an extent, I don't fully agree with. But let's talk about them now, to be honest. So Mel mentioned that she felt like the choreography wasn't as eye-catching as or dynamic as it was in the auditions. Simon mentioned it felt Yeah, he liked the one that looked like a dog, but he was kind of hoping they would all look like dogs, and it'd be like a makeover. And then, I mean, I can kind of understand where he's coming with that. I think they could have had dogs. They could have had dogs wearing. They could have just. They could have kind of decorated the dogs in the robots into actual dogs, which could have been cool. Sophia mentioned that they make technology fun, which is not easy sometimes. And Howie mentioned, as a world-renowned germaphobe, this is his favorite animal act he's ever seen, which was a funny comment there. But Howie, you could tell he really enjoyed it, and I did as well. I mean, putting into retrospect, you can't. You can just tell how much hard work that they put into this act, and it's really impressive to see, and just I think at some points it did feel a bit repetitive, at times, but as an overall performance, it was still really impressive. I do wish they would have had the dogs dressing up as actual dogs, or the robots dressing up as dogs. That could have been cool. But regardless, I still thought this was a very great performance. I thought they still did great, and I really enjoyed the whole performance as a whole. I really just, yeah, I just think what they're capable of doing is so creative. And it's an act we've never seen before of robots doing this type of act. So I have so much respect for them doing what they did, and so yeah, I'm very happy for these guys. I thought it was an overall great act, and I just can't wait to see what they have for us in the future, to say the least. Now we go on to the worst act of the night, without question, and that is Alex Zinger with his dance crew. And just, why, AGT? Why did we put this man through to the live shows? Oh god. Like, this is literally like Tom Sandoval level of what on earth were you thinking, judges? So, if you guys don't know the full story already, Alex Zinger was on AGT last year, but got cut in the deliberations. And then he basically came back with a whole crew, and he got 4 yeses, and he made it to this point in the competition. Which I'm sorry, but he just okay. I'm not gonna get okay. Let's just get into the into the performance now. So basically, Alex's performance had him doing a dance routine to Rhythm as a Dancer, a double use, Run to Me, and CB Music's Gonna Make You Sweat, backed with his backup dancers of him, which was quite impressive to see. But how he buzzed the act, which I applaud him once again. I applaud someone once again for buzzing an act, and but Mel B gave him a standing ovation, which is just like literally the exact same judge who said no to Team Recycled and Gendai, who should have in a universe deserved a golden buzzer. I'm still annoyed to myself that she said no to those two acts, and yet she said yes to Alex Singer, who cannot dance for his life. I can't get that out of my head. So let's just go to the comment section before I crash out, okay? Which I don't want to do. So let's just get into the comments. So Howie mentioned if it was under the comedy category, he would get a golden buzzer, which was funny. And even Howie was like, "Are you serious about dancing? You seriously think you're good?" And then Alex's response was like a heart attack, which crisp response there, Alex, like that, I love that attitude. So Mel mentioned that he is 34, he's gone so far in the competition, and she's got to give it to him. Sophia mentioned that she just thinks this is really bad. Yeah, she doesn't know how to dance, but you can tell that they took a lot of time into the routine. And Simon mentioned he was fantastically awful, and without acts like him, it would be boring. And it's one he's going to watch over again, which is just. I mean, I've got nothing else to say other than what on earth? Why did they decide to bring this guy back onto the live shows? But I will say, I would rather have Alex perform compared to Tom Sandoval, with his BS excuses and how much he sounded dreadful, and I mean dreadful, in that performance of the weekend's Blinding Lights. The band was fantastic, but he was utter garbage. I'm sorry, I'm saying it now. I know it's past the quarterfinal number one. I don't care. I in a universe, I could take Alex over Tom Sandoval in terms of scumminess, because Tom Sandoval has an ego to him. He made BS excuses, and Alex Singer, while he can't dance for his life, he's having the time of his life. He's enjoying himself. That's commendable. Okay, I can commend that. Okay, I can say that. But just like, I don't know. I have no clue why they decided to bring him back in the live shows. And it was just terrible. He was terrible, and he can't dance for his life. And he kind of, at some points, he kind of reminds me of an American Bruno Tonioni, the way he does the little moves as well. It does kind of give a Bruno vibe to him, which I do find quite funny as well. So, I mean, I don't dislike Alex Tuck. I think he seems like a decent person. I think he's fine as a person. I think he comes across as very nice. I don't think he's a better person compared to Tom Sandoval. Sandoval. You know, it was just not to be this time around. Sorry, Alex. I think you're a lot of fun, but this was not your night, unfortunately. Now we talk about the final act of the episode, which was 10-year-old Bay Melnick. I can't pronounce his other name. Bay Melnick. Where was it? Bay Melnick Virgolino. I think that's how he pronounces the other name, I believe. So, yes, let's just go. So let's just go Bay Melnick. So Bay Melnick, the 10-year-old guitar player from New York, and his audition had him playing "I Gotta Go My Way" by Lenny Kravitz, which he absolutely shredded. And when I say shredded, and I mean shredded, like shredded. His performance in the audition was so good. The way he was playing the guitar, the way he crushed his performance. So I was very excited to see what he had in the quarterfinals this time around, and he once again absolutely nailed it. So basically his performance had him singing Joan Jett's "I Love Rock and Roll," a great song choice here, and he was playing the guitar as well, which was also absolutely incredible to watch. Just again, I just absolutely love this kid's confidence, and the way he commands the stage is just nothing short of just epic. It's just epic. So Sophia mentioned that it was a great way to close the show, and he's a mini rock star. Simon mentioned that he came out with the real attitude, confidence, stage presence, great song, and he nailed it. Mel mentioned that for 10 years old, he's doing this already. While mentioning the vocals weren't perfect, the guitar playing and commitment was on point. And Howie mentioned that the kid's amazing and he is a rock star. I completely agree with the judges here. His singing voice, I do think, is decent. He's got a decent singing voice. Maybe not the strongest singing voice, but the way he plays the guitar and shreds it is nothing short of perfection. I just think this kid is just amazing. Like, he literally rocked the house down, and how he's capable of playing the guitar at his age is literally unimaginable. And I can't even play the guitar myself. The only instrument I'm able to play is the drums, and that's not saying much. Okay, and again, his stage presence is absolutely off the charts, and I just think he's the professional already. He's so ready for this, and I think hopefully after the show that we go and see him doing more things, more touring. I want to see him go have a huge career after the show. I think he is so unbelievably talented. He's just so good. He is just so good, and I'm so happy that I'm just so happy for him. You could tell his parents were so proud of him, and just seeing, just him commanding the stage was nothing short of just pure excellence. So we now have the results for this week. We have the top 5 here of the Leo High School Choir, Bay Melnick, Joglissimo, Duo Stardust, and Unreal Crew, which was a no-brainer for the top 5. It was clear as day that this would be the top 5, and I was bang on with the top 5. But the results I was actually a bit surprised about, with one act in particular. So let's go through it. So the first act that made it through to the semi-finals was none other than Unreal Crew, which was no surprise whatsoever, as they were the best act of the night. They were absolutely phenomenal, and I was blown away by their audition, by the performance they did, and it's a no-brainer they went through, because there was no way they weren't going through as well, because I just thought they were phenomenal. And like I mentioned, I think they are the dance group this season that have got a real shot at winning the whole thing. I think they're going to be in the top 2, and I really hope that we do see them in that final 2. And just to see them go against Jessica Sanchez would just be epic. Then we have the second act making it through to the semifinals, that being Bay Melnick, which again I'm not surprised about at all in the slightest. I thought he absolutely nailed his performance. Another contestant I feel like I kind of had under the radar. I kind of feel like I've not really talked about much, but he really deserved to go through this week, and I'm very happy about that, him making it through. Then we had the third and final spot between Leo High School, Joglissimo, and Duo Stardust. And again, this was another result where I kind of felt to myself, we could be losing someone good. We could be losing someone very good. And the act that made it through, I was really surprised about, and that was the Leo High School Choir, which I was really not expecting them to go through, as I felt like, in a universe, you'd think Joglissimo would be the one to go through. But, America voted for the choirs, and meaning we have the first choir in the semi-finals this season, which, in a way, I'm not complaining about, because I thought they really improved from the audition. So that's not something I'm complaining about, because I think overall I wouldn't have had them in making it through. I would have easily had Joglissimo in their replacement. But people can have their own opinions on choirs. I know it's a very subjective to have a choir. I know people are very hit and miss, people are 50-50 about choirs, but I'm not against them going through, to be honest. I thought this was this was a result I could get behind, and overall I'd say the acts that made it through were very well deserving. Unreal Crew especially, Bay, he deserved it. Unreal Crew, I mean the Leo High School Choir, I wasn't really expecting, but I can get why they went through. So overall, but we also lost Joglissimo and Duo Stardust, which I am utterly heartbroken about, especially Joglissimo, because I really wanted them to go far. I wanted them in the finals. So to see them unfortunately not make it through was very, very disappointing. And of course, same for Duo Stardust. I thought they were fantastic as well. So it's a shame that those two had to. It's a shame those two didn't go through, which of course is a great shame. But it's just one of those things. But so we now have 6 semi-finals. Now we have Lightwire, Psycho Maria, Jordan Blue, Unreal Crew, Bay Melnick, and the Leo High School Choir. So far, it's shaping up to be a good semi-final, and apparently with the live show semi-final on Buzzer, that it could really change the script and what could happen in the next few coming weeks. So that is it for this week's recap and review of America's Got Talent for quarterfinals number 2. Let's quickly go through the lineup for week 3 for the quarterfinals. So right now, the acts we have for next week are Anna Saranina, the crossbow shooter who was originally part from Deadly Games, Austin Brown, who performed his original song called Somebody Believed, and he was the one that got rejected the first time, but came back for a second chance, and he nailed it. The Ben Family Bands, the vocal trio who basically who were involved in the LA incident that happened earlier this year. Chris Turner, the rapper and comedian. Garish and the Chronicles, the rock band who performed Set Fire to the Rain by Adele, which I am super, super happy about. I'm so happy that they made it through. Jacqueline and Wagner, the aerial duo from who did the kind of roller skating act, and we have two golden buzzers on next week. One of them being the ultimate fan favorite, I think, of this season, and that is Jessica Sanchez, who I am, for one, so excited to see return to the AGG stage since her audition, which is now the most viral audition of this season with nearly 10 million views. That's amazing. Marcia Harrison, the dancer who did basically used the whole room to Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. Mastermind, the kind of like master magician who used AI, very impressive. Mel B's golden buzzer, the Masaudi brothers, the juggling duo, which I am so happy about, and Micah Palace, the rapper who performed his own original rap in the episode. So, what are your early predictions for next week's quarterfinals? Now, in terms of the golden buzzer, I think it's really hard to predict, but if I had to make a gamble, I'm going to be gambling on this one. But I'm going to say Girish and the Chronicles are who I think get the golden buzzer. Again, I think is a bit of a hot take there. I could be wrong, because I know I was massively wrong for the predictions the first 2 weeks. So I'm kind of hopeful I get that right, but we'll never know. And who I think will make it through to the semi-finals, well, we all know. Well, the first one, Jessica Sanchez, is an absolute lock. I would be amazed if she's not through because she's just phenomenal. So Jessica going through. Next, I think, will be the Masaudi brothers, which I am desperately hoping for as well. I just think they are incredible. And I would love to see them what they do in the semi. Again, I really want to see the Masaudi brothers make it all the way to the finals this time around because I do think they're just incredible what they do. And then the final spot, I don't know, that's hard. That's going to be hard to call, but I'm going to go with Anna Saranina for the third spot. And again, I know the public tend to not vote for the Danger Acts per se, but if she brings her A game in the auditions, I could see her getting that third semi-final spot. So my prediction so far, my golden buzzer prediction is Girish and the Chronicles, and the acts who I think will make the semi-finals are Anna Saranina, Jessica Sanchez, and the Masaudi brothers. So those are my predictions for next week. Let me know your thoughts on this week's episode in the comments below, as well as your predictions for next week's quarterfinals. I'd love to hear your feedback and your predictions. But for now, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. With post notifications on, I would really appreciate that. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.